They say the truth always comes out in the end. But what if the truth is buried beneath layers of lies, confusion, and a confession that doesn't quite add up? This is the story of a man who walked into a police station with a shocking admission, but as detectives dug deeper, they uncovered a web of deception that would shake an entire town. The rain had been falling for hours, a cold autumn drizzle coating the windows of the small-town police department. Officer Melanie Brooks sat at her desk, sipping lukewarm coffee, when the front door creaked open. In walked a man, mid-40s, gaunt, soaked to the bone. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Officer Brooks, can I help you?" "Man, softly, I need to talk to someone." I killed someone." Her cup hit the desk with a clatter. Officer Brooks, stunned, "What did you say?" "Man, I killed her. My wife. I can't live with it anymore." Detective Ron Halstead entered the room, voice recorder in hand. The man, now identified as Daniel Whitaker, sat with hands trembling, fingers clutched around a styrofoam cup of untouched coffee. "Detective Halstead, Daniel, you said you killed your wife. Tell me what happened." Daniel inhaled shakily. "Daniel, it was Tuesday night. We were fighting, again. About the bills, about my drinking. It got out of control. I shoved her. She hit her head on the fireplace." Halstead, "And then, Daniel, she wasn't breathing. I panicked. I buried her, behind the shed. I didn't mean to, but I did it. It was an open and shut case, or so it seemed. A confession, a motive, and a place to find the body." But what happened next would raise more questions than answers. Officers arrived at Daniel's home. They searched the backyard, behind the shed. And there, wrapped in a tarp, partially buried, was a body. Only, it wasn't her. Detective Halstead then said, the body wasn't Daniel's wife. It was a man, mid-30s, unknown identity, with a gunshot wound to the chest. No blunt force trauma, no resemblance to his wife. And his wife, she was very much alive, and in another state. In the police station the next morning, Detective Halstead, "Daniel, we found a body. But it's not your wife. She's alive. In Kansas, visiting her sister." Daniel's face went white. "Daniel, no, that can't be. I killed her. I remember." Halstead, who's the man we found buried behind your house?" Daniel had no answer. A confession that didn't match the evidence. A wife who was still breathing. And a dead man with no name. Suddenly, what seemed like a tragic domestic dispute turned into a mystery riddled with contradictions. And the man who confessed, he wasn't making sense. Dr. Ellen Trask, a criminal psychologist, sat across from Daniel. He was now under a 72-hour mental health evaluation. "Dr. Trask, Daniel, can you tell me why you confessed to killing your wife when she's clearly alive?" "Daniel, because I saw her. On the floor. She wasn't moving. There was blood, wasn't there?" "Dr. Trask, memory can be unreliable under stress. Especially if there's trauma involved." Daniel looked up with sunken eyes. "Daniel, I don't know what's real anymore." The town of Rockdale was stunned. News spread quickly. A man confessed to a murder that never happened. And a real murder, buried in his backyard, went unexplained. The autopsy confirmed the victim had died 3 to 5 days earlier. No identification on the body. No missing persons report matched. Just a .38 caliber slug lodged near the heart, and signs he'd been moved post-mortem. Daniel, meanwhile, remained locked up, his mental state deteriorating. There was an interview with Neighbor, local news reporters. Neighbor, Daniel always seemed off. Kept to himself. But a killer, I don't know, something's not right. At Detective Halstead's office, files stacked high. Photos of the body, a bullet, crime scene sketches. Halstead, to himself, why would someone confess to a murder that didn't happen, while covering up the one that did? What was Daniel hiding, and who was the real victim? As authorities dug into Daniel's past, they found a trail of inconsistencies, a bankruptcy, a failed marriage, and a sealed juvenile record no one had thought to reopen, yet. But the most shocking revelation was still to come. In forensics lab, the bullet recovered from the body was traced to a weapon registered, not to Daniel, but to a woman named Carolyn Myers. Carolyn, it turned out, had been missing for 2 months, and she had a brother, Jason Myers. Jason was the dead man in Daniel's backyard. Then Detective Halstead meeting with Carolyn's family. Carolyn's mother, "We thought Jason went looking for her. He was the only one who didn't give up. Halstead, he may have found her, and Daniel too." Now it wasn't just about a false confession. It was about how Jason Myers ended up dead. And what connection Daniel had to Carolyn, a woman he claimed not to know. But phone records told a different story. In the week before Jason's death, Daniel exchanged 5 phone calls with a number registered to Carolyn. Halstead, so he did know her. Daniel Whitaker confessed to a murder that never happened, while concealing a connection to a woman who disappeared, and whose brother ended up dead in his backyard. And suddenly, the question wasn't whether Daniel was lying. It was why. In small towns, secrets don't stay buried forever. But some confessions are meant to distract. to protect, or to hide something far worse. A secret affair is uncovered. The wife makes a chilling 911 call, and the truth begins to bleed through the cracks. Daniel confessed to killing his wife, a woman who was still alive. But in his backyard lay the body of Jason Myers, brother to a woman who had disappeared months earlier. And Daniel had ties to both of them. The mystery was only beginning. Stacks of files clutter the desk. Coffee steams in a chipped mug. Halstead stares at photos of Carolyn Myers. Halstead, to Officer Brooks, he said he didn't know her. Phone records say otherwise. Brooks, 5 calls in 8 days. That's not random. Halstead, and her brother turns up dead in his yard. We've been looking at this all wrong. Daniel stares out the barred window, murmuring to himself. Dr. Trask Siad, his confusion is real. But I don't think he's insane. He's traumatized, haunted, like someone who's trying to bury something inside and out. Daniel, to himself, I didn't shoot him. I didn't even know him, not really. But Daniel did know Jason, and more importantly, he knew Carolyn. Her name appeared in his old email records. A thread of messages that started benign and turned personal. The emails began in June. Carolyn had posted on a missing persons forum, seeking leads on her missing daughter from a previous relationship. Daniel replied. He claimed he had information. Offered to meet. Officer Brooks, why would Daniel respond to a missing persons post? Halstead, because he knew the girl. Or thought he did. The girl, 14-year-old Emily Dawson, disappeared 2 years ago. Last seen at a gas station just 12 miles from Daniel's cabin in the woods. And suddenly, Daniel wasn't just a grieving husband. He was the thread tying together 2 missing persons cases and 1 dead body. Co-worker, Carolyn was obsessed with finding Emily. She believed someone took her. Said the police weren't doing enough. She started investigating on her own. Did she ever mention a man named Daniel Whitaker? Co-worker, yes. She said he contacted her out of the blue. Claimed he used to work with Emily's biological father. Said he had a theory. Daniel, reconstruction, I just want to help. I've seen men like this before. Predators. They groom, they wait, and then they vanish. Carolyn, you're saying you think her father took her? Daniel, I think someone did. And I think I know where they went. But the next email, dated August 3rd, was the last. Carolyn disappeared 10 days later. In June 12th, Daniel contacts Carolyn. July, they meet multiple times. August 3rd, final email. August 13th, Carolyn vanishes. September 18th, Jason begins searching for her. October 10th, Jason vanishes. October 11th, Daniel confesses, but not to Jason's murder. Halstead, to his team, what if Jason found something? What if he confronted Daniel? Officer Brooks, and Daniel killed him to shut him up. Halstead, then why confess to killing his wife? That question haunted everyone, until they found the hidden camera footage. The police was viewing footage. Jason's car, parked down the street from Daniel's house. A dash cam still running. The video showed Jason approaching Daniel's front door. They argue. Jason holds a manila folder. Voices are muffled, but intense. Jason raises the folder. Daniel grabs it, then slams the door. 10 minutes later, Jason is never seen again. The file in Jason's hand was later recovered, soaked from the rain, crumpled in the backyard trash bin. Inside, printouts of Daniel's sealed juvenile record. Photos of a girl, and a list of names. One was circled in red, Emily Dawson, and Detective Halstead pacing in the hallway. Halstead, on a voice low, what the hell are you hiding, Daniel? And Dr. Trask's final evaluation of Daniel. Dr. Trask, he's suppressing trauma. Deep-seated, but when you mentioned Emily's name, his whole demeanor shifted. Almost like guilt, but not over Jason. Over her. Halstead, Emily Dawson, you knew her, didn't you? Daniel's eyes flicker, jaw clenches. Daniel, I never touched her. I swear. Halstead, that wasn't the question. Daniel, she came to the cabin. Once. Said she was running away. I gave her food. That's it. Halstead, did Carolyn know? Daniel, she figured it out. She pushed me. Said she'd go to the police. Halstead, so you killed her? Daniel shakes his head slowly. Daniel, no, I didn't. I swear. I just wanted her to stop asking. But Carolyn never did stop asking. And now, her brother was dead. Fibers found on Jason's body matched the carpeting from Daniel's basement. He hadn't just been buried there, he'd been killed there. The .38 caliber gun, recovered from the lake behind Daniel's cabin. Ballistics matched. We are officially charging Daniel Whitaker with the murder of Jason Myers. Further investigation into the disappearance of Carolyn Myers is ongoing. But even as charges mounted, there was one problem. No physical evidence ever tied Daniel to Carolyn's disappearance. No blood, no weapon, no body, and no witness. Daniel, in holding cell, whispering, I didn't kill her. I didn't. I told her to leave. That's all. A chilling phone audio discovered on Jason's phone. Jason recorded, if anything happens to me, it was Daniel Whitaker. He knows what happened to my sister. He confessed to me. He said he buried her where no one would ever find her. Daniel confessed to a murder that never happened. But now, 2 people are missing, 1 confirmed dead. The other still lost. The question isn't if Daniel killed someone. It's how many. A break in the case from an unlikely witness. A chilling discovery in the woods. And the return of a voice everyone thought was gone. Daniel Whitaker confessed to killing his wife, a woman who was very much alive. But now he stood accused of a real murder, that of Jason Myers, the brother of Carolyn Myers, who vanished 2 months earlier after getting too close to Daniel's past. But Daniel wasn't talking, and somewhere in the dense forests of Rockdale, the answers were still hiding. The whiteboard is cluttered with photos, maps, strings of red twine tying timelines together. In the middle, 1 word circled over and over: cabin. Detective Halstead, to team, he said Emily showed up there once. But that's not all. I think it's where Carolyn went. And maybe, where she stayed. Officer Brooks, stayed. You think she's alive? Halstead, grim, or buried under the floorboards. Daniel inherited the old hunting cabin from his uncle 3 years earlier. Isolated, no neighbors for miles, a dead zone for phone signals. The perfect place for someone, or something, to disappear. Officers move through thick brush. Rain-soaked earth muffles their steps. The cabin looms, wooden, decaying, with boarded-up windows and a lock rusted shut. Deputy, breaking the door, you sure this is the place? Halstead, let's find out. Dust chokes the air, rodents scatter, but beneath the decay, signs of life. A makeshift bed, canned food, a mirror with writing on it in lipstick, you can't erase what you did. Brooks, whispering, that doesn't look old. Was Carolyn here? Was someone else squatting here since her disappearance? Or was it a setup? In the corner, a trapdoor. It creaked open after years untouched. The officers descend into the root cellar. Flashlights cut through darkness. They land on a tarp. Underneath, plastic bins filled with women's clothing, and in one corner, a small pink hoodie. The same girl Carolyn was looking for. And now, pieces of her life were buried beneath Daniel's retreat. But that wasn't the only discovery. Audio Forensics Lab, analyzing the voice message Jason left, Jason's final message, claiming Daniel confessed to killing Carolyn, is reanalyzed. There's a second voice, faint, in the background. A voice, female, panicked, almost a whisper. Voice, enhanced, he's going to kill me. He said no one would ever find me here. Brooks, shocked, that's her. That's Carolyn. Halstead, he wasn't alone when Jason came. She was still alive. Halstead, we found the cabin. We found her clothes. Her voice is on Jason's tape. She was alive when he came. Where is she, Daniel? Daniel stares forward. Hollow. Daniel, I told her to leave. That's it. I never saw her again. Halstead, then how did her voice end up on that tape? Daniel blinks, slow, as if remembering. Daniel, she was scared. She thought Jason would take her away. She said she couldn't go home. Not after what she found. Halstead, what did she find? Daniel, quietly, bones. Daniel's confession takes a bizarre turn. He claims Carolyn found remains near the cabin. Animal bones, or human. But when the team returned to the woods, they made a horrifying discovery. A shallow grave. Bones, scattered, fragmented. Forensics confirmed they belonged to a young female, likely between 12 and 15 years old. Halstead, to team, could it be Emily? DNA testing would take time. But the signs pointed to one conclusion. Emily Dawson had been there. And now, Carolyn might have uncovered the truth, only to vanish herself. Retired Officer John Avery, who worked Emily's missing case. Avery, Emily's file went cold. But there were always rumors. Locals talked about a man giving out candy at gas stations. Descriptions matched Daniel, but we had nothing solid. But even as investigators built their case, one more twist sent shockwaves through Rockdale. The police dispatch, at 2:17 a.m., 911 call comes in. Caller, panicked, female, my name is Carolyn Myers. I'm alive. I need help. Please, don't tell Daniel. Carolyn is alive. Was she on the run? Or being hunted? GPS triangulation team working the call. The signal came from a burner phone, traced to a motel off the interstate, 45 miles away. By the time officers arrived, the room was empty. But a note was left behind, taped to the mirror. Note, written in lipstick, he's not who you think he is. I'll be in touch. Halstead, reading the note, she's running from something. Or someone. Brooks, you think she killed Jason? Halstead, I think she knows who did. And she's scared of what comes next. A voice from the dead returns. A body found in the woods. And a killer still unaccounted for. The deeper investigators dug into Daniel's life, the more they uncovered not just lies, but a pattern. Daniel wasn't just unlucky, he was always near where women disappeared. Always one step ahead of the law. Until now, a message from beyond the grave. A secret room in Daniel's basement. And Carolyn finally tells her story. Daniel Whitaker confessed to killing his wife, but the woman he confessed to murdering was alive. He's since been charged with the murder of Jason Myers. And now, the person who might hold all the answers, Carolyn Myers, has resurfaced. She's terrified, she's hiding, but she's ready to speak. In Rockdale Motel at 7:13 a.m., the morning after Carolyn's anonymous call, Detective Halstead stands over a motel room bed. The sheets are wrinkled, the window cracked open, the only trace of the woman who called 911, a lipstick-stained note on the mirror. He's not who you think he is. Halstead, to Officer Brooks, she was here, maybe an hour before we arrived. She's close, and she wants to be found, on her terms. Brooks thinks she's running from Daniel. Halstead, shaking head, maybe. Or maybe, from someone else. Carolyn Myers was presumed dead. Her brother Jason died trying to find her. Now she was slipping in and out of the shadows like a ghost, and she wasn't alone. In the interrogation room, Daniel watches the motel footage. Halstead slides a blurry image across the table, a security cam still of Carolyn at the motel front desk. Daniel stares at it, emotionless. Halstead, she's alive. That means you lied again. Daniel, flatly, I never said I killed her. Halstead, you let us think you did. Why? Daniel, quiet, because I thought she was dead too. Was Daniel protecting someone, or was this the final unraveling of a man whose mind fractured under guilt? An abandoned farmhouse, outside Rockdale. Carolyn Myers appears, disheveled, tired, but very much alive. She's filming herself, a shaky cam, her voice low and panicked. Carolyn, on camera, if you're watching this, it means I'm either dead or I'm ready to be found. I have to tell the truth, all of it. In Rockdale Police Department, the Halstead plays the video for his team. Carolyn, in video, I met Daniel because of Emily. He told me her father had taken her, that he had proof. At first, he seemed kind. A little odd, but kind. I believed him. Then he brought me to the cabin. That's when I knew something was wrong. Carolyn recounts arriving at the isolated cabin. Daniel was calm, too calm. He showed her an old chest of drawers. Inside were dozens of photos. Photos of girls, some smiling, some afraid. One of them was Emily Dawson. Carolyn, video, he told me he tried to help them. That he gave them shelter. But there were locks, chains, and a trapdoor I wasn't allowed to open. He said Emily ran away again. But I found blood in the cellar. Dried, old, and then, the bone fragment. The remains found near the cabin. Confirmed to be Emily Dawson. Halstead, stunned, he didn't just lie. He buried the truth. Literally. Carolyn's video included something else, a floor plan. She claimed Daniel had another secret room. Not in the cabin, but beneath his home. And when officers returned with a new warrant, they found it. Brooks, lifting floor panel, here. This isn't on any blueprint. Halstead, pulling flashlight, let's see what he's been hiding. Inside, darkness, mold, rot, but also, evidence. A burned phone, a box labeled, Emily, with her journal inside. A second box, see, full of Carolyn's belongings. And in the far corner, a cot with blood-stained sheets. Carolyn never escaped that cabin by accident. She was let go, and not by Daniel. Carolyn's video continues. Carolyn, Daniel wasn't alone. There was another man. He only came at night. He wore gloves, sunglasses, even inside. Daniel was afraid of him. Called him Mr. Glass. I think he's the one who hurt those girls. I think Daniel just cleaned up the mess. Detective Halstead speaks to the DA. Halstead, what if Daniel's not the killer? What if he's the accomplice? DA, then who's Mr. Glass? They checked Daniel's old employment records. He worked at a hospital in 2011, security night shift. A small staff, rotating roster. One name came up repeatedly next to his, Clark Edgley, aka Mr. Glass. A man with no digital footprint in the last 6 years. A man with one sealed arrest in 2003 for attempted abduction. Halstead, we've been chasing the wrong monster. Carolyn is alive, but she's still running. From Mr. Glass, from her trauma, from the memories. Her final words echo as the screen darkens. Carolyn, Daniel confessed, but not because he did it. He confessed because he was scared. Because the real killer told him to. And when Mr. Glass finds out I'm alive, he'll come for me too. If you're hooked on this story, don't miss what happens next. Like this video if you want justice for Carolyn. Subscribe if you need to know the truth about Mr. Glass. Because trust me, the real killer hasn't even started yet. Mr. Glass steps out of the shadows. A shocking connection to another cold case. And Carolyn vanishes, again. Carolyn Myers is alive. She's on the run, not just from Daniel Whitaker, but from a darker presence. Someone Daniel called Mr. Glass. The name meant nothing, until investigators connected it to a man with a sealed arrest, a dead-end paper trail, and a habit of vanishing when things got close. But now, he's surfaced. And with him, a history soaked in secrets. Detective Halstead, to Task Force, Clark Edgley. Known alias, Mr. Glass. Former hospital security guard, suspended after complaints of stalking nurses whispering to patients at night. Never charged until 2003. Brooks, reading file, attempted abduction of a 14-year-old girl. Charges dropped. Witness disappeared. The girl was never seen again. Halstead, and guess who vouched for him back then? He slaps a name on the board, Daniel Whitaker. Daniel and Mr. Glass weren't just co-workers, they were friends. And maybe more than that, partners. Halstead and Brooks scanned through files, victims aged 12 to 16, missing over a 10-year period. Same MO, disappeared from rural towns. All girls, all last seen near a gas station or a hospital. None ever found. One stands out, Allison Trammell, 14. Gone in 2012, taken outside a hospital in Kentucky, where Mr. Glass worked, 2 months after being fired in Rockdale. Her case was cold for a decade. But then something strange happened. Allison's mother was interviewed at her home. Mrs. Trammell, teary-eyed, I got a package a year ago. No return address. Inside, a photograph. She holds it up. Grainy, faded. A girl in a basement, holding a teddy bear. Behind her, a man in dark glasses. Halstead, quietly, Mr. Glass. Every thread investigators pulled led him to one conclusion. Daniel wasn't the predator. He was the cleanup crew. Halstead, sitting across from Daniel, you lied to protect him. You took the blame so he wouldn't come after you. Or Carolyn. Daniel, you don't understand what he is. Halstead, then make me understand. Daniel leans in. Daniel, he watches. That's all he does at first. From the trees, through windows, he waits until they're alone. Then, he makes you choose. Halstead, choose what? Daniel, haunted, who gets to live. Daniel describes years of silent fear. Of Mr. Glass showing up at night. Of bringing girls to hide, girls who never came back. Of threats whispered through walls. Of obedience bought with silence. Halstead, angry, so you just went along with it. Daniel, tears in his eyes, I buried them because I was told to. I didn't kill them, but I never stopped it either. Another search begins. A second trapdoor, sealed beneath concrete. They break through it. What they find stuns even the most seasoned detectives. Narrator, soft, broken, beneath the floor, were 5 shallow graves. Inside each, the bones of a girl. Each one missing between 2011 and 2016. Each one wearing a bracelet with a letter carved into it. AJKLE Brooks, realizing, he labeled them. Halstead, like trophies. One of the girls matches dental records from Allison Trammell. Another is confirmed as Emily Dawson. 3 more remain unidentified. But the 5th grave is empty. Just a broken bracelet. The letter, C. Brooks, Carolyn. Halstead, no, someone else. Carolyn's name wasn't even on Mr. Glass's list yet. Carolyn, he found me. I saw him outside my motel window last night. Same glasses, same gloves. He hasn't aged. This is my last video. If something happens to me, it's not Daniel. It's him, Mr. Glass. A tall man, wearing a hat and dark sunglasses, walks across the parking lot. He turns toward the camera for half a second. His mouth is twisted in a grin. And then, he's gone. Clark Edgley, aka Mr. Glass, hasn't been seen in public in over 5 years. Until now, and wherever he goes, bodies follow. A secret hidden in Daniel's childhood home. Carolyn disappears again, and this time, leaves behind something chilling. And Mr. Glass finally makes his move. Carolyn Myers is missing, again, but this time, she didn't run. She was taken. Her final message ended abruptly. No goodbye, no hiding place, just silence, and a single, haunting clue. Brooks, it's her phone. Pinged once. Abandoned gas station near Route 7. Halstead, throwing on coat, we move now. If Mr. Glass has her, we don't have time. They find the phone. Broken, half buried in the dirt behind the pumps. Inside the voicemail box, one unsent audio file. Carolyn, in whisper, he's behind me. Quote ellipsis, he said I remind him of the one that got away. In the gas station, the security footage, reviewed frame by frame, Carolyn appears at pump 3. She's pacing, nervous. Then, at 1:58 a.m., a dark SUV pulls in behind her. The driver never gets out. She glances at the vehicle and freezes. Then runs. The SUV pulls away. Halstead, he didn't come to grab her. He came to scare her. Heard her. Brooks, like prey. The team combs every surrounding field, every roadside ditch. But there's nothing, not even a shoe print. It's as if Carolyn vanished into the night. Again, Daniel in his cell, visibly shaken. He hasn't spoken in days. Then suddenly, he asks for Halstead. Daniel, urgent, he took her. I know where he'd go. But you won't believe me. Halstead, try me. Daniel, there's a place. Our place, from when we were kids. My grandparents' house. It's where he started. The first one was there. Her name was Ellie. Daniel's grandparents' farmhouse, abandoned since 1996, is tucked deep in the Rockdale woods. No road leads there anymore, but the property is still listed under Clark Edgley's mother's name. The structure is collapsing, moss-covered, forgotten by time, but the basement door has a new lock. They breach it. Inside, a cold, mildew-covered labyrinth of hallways and sounds. Breathing, soft, almost singing, one for sorrow, two for mirth. A lullaby. They follow it. At the far end of the cellar, behind a steel-reinforced door, they find it, a concrete room. One cot, a tray of untouched food, and a mirror, with blood-smeared writing, "She is me." Halstead whispers, "Carolyn." She is not in the room. But her jacket is, her camera is, and on the mirror shelf, a bracelet. The same kind Mr. Glass used to mark his victims. Except this one says, "Ah, Brooks, that's not her name." Halstead, he's not just copying, he's redoing something. Somewhere, the original, still matters. And forensics team uncovers hidden passage behind cellar wall. They find a crawl space, leading into an underground tunnel lined with photographs. Old, torn, all girls. One photo stands out, Renee Whitaker, Daniel's younger sister. She disappeared when they were teenagers. Her case was never solved. Halstead, this is what he's been doing. Over and over, searching for her, replacing her. Daniel, in interview, he was obsessed with her. Followed her around the house. Told me she was special. When she vanished, he cried. He told me, she was the first. She'll be the last. Carolyn Myers had the same eyes. The same voice. She wasn't chosen at random. She was recruited to play Renee. The video auto-uploads when reconnected to Wi-Fi. The final seconds of her last footage reveal a reflection in the mirror, not hers. It's him, Mr. Glass, but he's not wearing sunglasses. His eyes are hollow, black with dilated pupils. And he says one word, Renee. The hunt for Carolyn is now a race against time. Because Mr. Glass isn't just reliving the past. He's trying to rewrite it. And Carolyn's fate depends on what happened to Renee all those years ago. Halstead, to his team, find out where Renee was last seen. Cross-reference every property Mr. Glass's family ever owned. Go back 30 years if you have to. Because if we find Renee, we might still save Carolyn. Daniel confessed. He admitted to burying the girls, to hiding the truth, to playing his part in the horrors that unfolded in Rockdale. But in the end, it wasn't the confession that solved the case. It was the one truth he was too afraid to speak. The one name he wouldn't say out loud until the very end. Renee. Carolyn is still missing. Halstead hasn't slept in 2 days. The team has uncovered a set of old psychiatric files from a long-closed facility. Patient name, Renee Whitaker. Date of admittance, March 5, 1993. Status, escaped, May 11, 1994. She was 15 when she vanished. Not missing, but on the run. And her roommate, Clark Edgerly, then 16, already showing disturbing patterns, and already obsessed. In a sealed crawl space behind the living room wall, they find bones. Small, fragile, female, DNA confirms it. Renee Whitaker never made it out of that house. She never escaped. She was the first. Halstead, staring into the dark, so all this time, he was chasing a ghost. Brooks and Daniel let him. A barn deep in Pine Hollow Forest, private property linked to the Edgerly Family Trust. Halstead, Brooks, and tactical teams move in. The barn looks abandoned, but a generator hums in the distance. Inside, the walls are covered in drawings of Renee. Childlike, hundreds of them. All with black eyes. And in the center of the room, a glass coffin. Carolyn lies inside, breathing, bound, but alive. Mr. Glass stands behind her. Quiet, waiting. Halstead draws his weapon. Halstead, Clark Edgerly. Let her go. It's over. Mr. Glass, calmly. It was over a long time ago. She's the last. My Renee. Halstead, she's not her. Mr. Glass, no, but she believes in truth. Like Renee did. That's why she came back. It wasn't about murder, it was about resurrection, about recreating a moment when someone believed in him. Even for a second. Mr. Glass, I didn't kill them. I gave them peace. Daniel did the rest. Halstead lowers his weapon slightly. Halstead, then prove it. Let her go. Mr. Glass turns to Carolyn and unlocks the glass. She falls forward, gasping. Brooks rushes in. In the commotion, Mr. Glass steps into the shadows and vanishes. Just like before, Carolyn is safe. But shaken, she tells them what he said during captivity. You'll never really see the truth if you only listen to what people say. Confessions are stories, lies wrapped in guilt. She looks at Halstead. Carolyn, Daniel didn't just help him. He trained him. With new evidence, Daniel's full role comes into focus. He wasn't the scapegoat. He wasn't the hero. He was the architect. He manipulated Mr. Glass, fed his obsessions, and used him to do what Daniel wouldn't. Mr. Glass was the shadow, but Daniel was the hand. Scene, final court hearing. 2 months later, Daniel withdraws his original confession. He claims he was coerced, that he made it all up. But the evidence says otherwise. A hidden journal is found behind Daniel's old bedroom wall. Drawings, names, dates, plans. He detailed every burial, every victim, even Renee. Daniel Whitaker is sentenced to 6 consecutive life terms. Clark Edgley, Mr. Glass, remains missing. Some say he died in the woods that night. Others swear they've seen him, watching from behind gas station windows, truck stop diners, nursing homes. He doesn't kill anymore, but he still watches. And Carolyn, she disappeared again, but this time, on her terms. She released her final video, just 2 minutes long. Carolyn then said on camera, "They always tell you the confession is the end of the story. That once you hear someone say, 'I did it,' you can finally rest." But not all confessions are true. Sometimes they're shields, sometimes they're stories, and sometimes the real monster is the one who never speaks at all.